Hey, Gator Nation, welcome back to Respect Our Decision, Pod of the People, our weekly episode that we do exclusively for YouTube, where we get questions from you guys and we try to give them answers, our best opinion, as well as our weekly community question. As always, guys, I'm your boy Hirsch, and with me, CJ the Man McCann.
What's up, guys?
And the hype man Wes.
What's good, Gator Nation?
Gator Nation, just want to say thank you real quick to everybody that entered into the giveaway last month. Had a great turnout for that. Lots of new subscribers, lots of comments, lots of likes on the videos. Want to congratulate viewer Wicked Fresh. He won the Scared Money Don't Make Money t-shirt from our good friends at Alma Mater. His wife reached out to us this morning to go ahead and send in their information so we can get that shirt sent to him. Be on the lookout, guys. We're going to do another one next month for a hat with the Swinging Gator Golf logo from our good friends at Alma Mater once again, and we'll give you information about that as we get closer to August. So that being said, guys, Wes, what kind of questions we got this week, man?
All right, this is from my boy Charlie Sapp. Appreciate you, Charlie. You ask questions fairly every week. So see the first question from Charlie. He says, how many more wide receivers do you think we take in this class?
3. I think we get 3. 3. I think we get 3 more. Don't ask me who they are, but I think we get 3 more.
I know where you're going.
I think we get 3 more. I've been.
You think we have a chance?
I think we have a chance. I think we have a chance. I think I've seen some predictions for different guys. It wouldn't shock me to see Chance Robinson or T.J. Abrams in the class. They get a lot of traction. Maybe one more. I'm not gonna
who's the one more?
Don't worry about who the one more is. Don't worry about who it is. I'm boy.
That's about the highest level of confidence CJ's ever gone to with this particular individual that we know he's talking about.
Everything's going so well right now. Let's sunshine.
You gotta feel that way.
Let's sunshine pump a little bit. Why not?
CJ.
Let's get hyped for a minute. Wes is we're having a great time. We're doing
y'all
great.
Switch chairs?
I know, right? I just feel so much better today. I'm so hyped up, man.
My goodness.
I'm looking at the board and I'm looking at mock classes and I'm like, yo, boy, we're doing great.
I go to CJ for logic and sound thought.
Oh, man. This is my class, CJ. So good. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Let's do it. Let's pump them up, man. Let's say we get 3 more. Maybe one of them is somebody we really like. So we'll see.
They're gonna send CJ down. They're going to put CJ down to freezing cold takes when it's all said and done.
I hope so. Get some views on this place. No, but no, bare minimum, I think we get 2 more, maybe 3. But that's where I'm at.
All right, Hirsch. This is Jonathan Williams. This is kind of like a weekly question.
Okay.
But the way things are going, I see why he's asking, because we were thinking different when we first started talking about recruiting this year.
I think I know where you're going, but go ahead.
He says, how many more players do you think we can get in this class of 24?
Sir, I'm going to give you the best answer I can. When we started talking about this, it was 20. Then all of a sudden it was 22, 23. Then it was 25. And today we were told that the staff has basically said, get them and we'll figure it out. So I can't even give you a number right now.
I think
you could see 28.
Yeah. I think the bottom, 26. I think 25, 26 is probably.
I was about to say, I think the floor.
That's the floor, right?
Let's pump it down. 25, 26 is probably the number.
I mean, we could be looking at, knock on wood, as we could be sitting at 22 by the end of next week.
Yeah, we'd be doing great, but the problem is we won't ever catch up to Georgia. They're on track to take 60 kids.
We can only control. we can only control. Yeah, but they need guys. They're trying to fill up a racetrack. They got
an old NASCAR field.
I caught that late, but I got it. All right, CJ, this is from Mike Miller. He says, any Gator prospects announcing where they're going this week? Of course, we already got 2. He sent this in.
No, we only got. Yeah, you're right. I apologize.
We got 2. He sent this in on Monday, so already asked this question. So let's say in the next couple weeks, I'm gonna reframe his question. You think we get any more? Up into the barbecue. Let's go through the month of July. How many more?
We're talking like who's left. DeAndre Robinson commits on the 20th.
Teddy Foster will have committed by the time this video goes live.
Yeah, so Teddy, we'll know if we have Teddy Foster or not. I would be very shocked. You could sew my head to the carpet and I wouldn't be more shocked than if we didn't get Teddy Foster. That would be
the only way we don't get Teddy Foster is if we call him up and say, no, we don't have a spot now.
Yeah, I don't think that. But DeAndre Robinson's one guy to look for. I know Texas has been trending heavily for him. There's some positive news coming out of our camp, though. So we'll see. I think when you look at the Westfall commitment and you look at like how fast things changed with him, it's still the 20th is still a while away for me to feel like really confident either way. So we'll see that. But he is one of the prospects that I would keep an eye out for.
All right. Kurt, this is from Marshall DePriest. He has a question for CJ. I'll go back to that one. This was one for everyone. He says, with everyone doubting us with Westfall up to the last minute, is it safe to assume that we're officially back and can win head to head with anyone?
Ask me that question in December. No. In all honesty, on any given day, just like they say, the saying goes, any given Saturday or any given Sunday, absolutely. It just depends on what that recruit is looking for out of the school they're picking, to be very honest. I don't think it's any doubt that Florida beats any school academically that we're generally up against in recruiting battles. I mean, we do. Mm-hmm. Financially, in the NIL area, we can compete with pretty much anyone out there in NIL. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Facilities upgraded.
So, it just comes down to, for most kids, how bad do you want to win right this minute? Or do you want to be part of building something back to greatness? And that's the message that Billy's sending a lot of these kids that they're buying into. And that's why, and I'm gonna segue this with a comment real quick, why I don't expect any of these kids to decommit from this class, because they know what they're buying into. They know this year is going to be a crapshoot. They know It could be 8 wins or it could be 5, 6 wins. They absolutely know that. They're not worried about what Graham Mertz and the 2023 Florida Gators do. They're worried about what DJ Lagway and 24 to the Swamp do going forward.
Right.
And they've bought into that. Billy's selling it like a daggum cold lemonade outside when it's 99 degrees, and they're buying it, man. They're buying it. We're number 3 in the country. I mean, Georgia's got to fill up at some point. He's got to leave something for the rest of us. Bama hadn't gone on their run yet, but we're not really up a head-to-head with Bama for a lot of kids this year.
And the crazy thing is Bama really got an elite, one of the best classes of all time last year. So their struggle, they're going to go on a run. They're going to still be top 5, top 4, maybe top 3 Bama. But it won't be like last year because of this is my opinion, just me, just personally.
You're right, because and another thing to add to that is the talent's not out there anymore.
Nope.
60% of like the top 200 is committed already.
Yeah.
So you're running out of prospects to boost that class with. So they're buying it. That's what I can say. Billy, I think we can beat anybody on any given day with the right recruiting pitch.
All right, CJ, this is the first part of his two-part question that I skipped because I gave it was Hirsch's turn. So he says, for CJ, do you do the chop at the Braves game?
Hell no. If you look back at the Atlanta Braves, it's not even an Atlanta Braves thing. People didn't start doing it until Deion Sanders was playing for the Braves. So it's never been a Braves thing. It's always been a Florida State thing. So I'm not adopting it as a Braves fan, not for any political standpoint reason that I'm trying to make or anything. It's just because I hate them sons of bitches in Tallahassee.
All right. So I asked you this one, Hirsch, since he just talked about the chop. Again, Charlie sat back in this. He says, who do you think close out this class? If you could give a mock class right now with everybody that's already committed, I'm adding on to this question as I usually do sometimes. So you already know who's in the class. If you could add, we're at what, 21? Where we at? 21?
I'll give you the names. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the names that I'm almost certain of.
Good.
I'm not gonna put any reaches into this class. So I'm not gonna go out there and be as high as CJ was on a certain wide receiver. But here's what I'll say: Xavier Mincy, yes. Teddy Foster, by the time of this recording, should be in the class. There's 2. LJ McCray. If you get Xavier Mincy, I think you pretty much sealed LJ McCray. So there's 3. All right. I'm missing somebody that's low hanging fruit, and I can't remember who it is. As of today, and the info that's out there floating in the atmosphere, I think we get Dontre Robinson. That's 4. You're going to get one more guy in the DB room, whether it be Jamari Howard, maybe they circle back to Wardell Mack. There's names out there, but I think you get one more DB that can play any of the positions, and then you're in +1 territory. And these coaches are out there looking for +1s, and a +1 isn't a guy that can come in and be a situational player or a development player. A +1 is a guy that's going to make an early impact to this roster.
Seaton, Smith, those type of guys.
Yeah, Simmons, Smith, the guy that we weren't trying to name. Jordan Ross, if you circle back to that. So there's 5 names that I almost guarantee could be in this class, with the possibility of 2 to 3 more. Oh, and I would think one of TJ Abrams and Chance Robinson for sure. I'll give that flip prediction.
All right. This is CJ. Well, I'm going to take this one, CJ. Justin got the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. So I'm going to answer one of his questions.
Justin has all the questions, and we love it.
We have all the answers.
He says, do we owe Sale and Stapleton apologies? Seem to kick it up a notch this week. I don't want to say I owe them apologies because I feel like the criticism was justified, so to speak. They've done a good job in the portal of retooling the offensive line this offseason as far as the portal. They just needed to get the job done. And we had doubts. I mean, everybody had doubts. So I don't want to say they are doing an apology. They still and I like Westfall, and you guys, I think, watched him a little bit more than me, and you guys think he's going to rise in the rankings. So I want to see him rise in the rankings. But as far as his rankings is today for me, I don't feel like that should have been in 3 years our top rated offensive tackle, in my opinion. So I feel like the criticism was justified, but I am happy and I'm proud of what they're doing. And if they get me Seaton, I might apologize. If I get Seaton, I'll apologize right here live. But CJ's Justin's next question. He said, "Do you guys think the class is finished by the time the season starts?"
I don't think so. Just because, again, I've always said there are kids that we like that aren't going to want to commit until they go to some games. And I think that you're not going to finish the class by the time the season starts. I think we're going to be close. I think we're close now.
5%.
I think we'll be in such a great spot because they can narrow their focus to there's just 3 or 4 kids left.
Which is
and that's where I'm at. It's like 3 or 4 kids that you're going to be recruiting through the season. And like I said, they're just kids that want to go to games before they make their decision. They want to take official visits to actual games. And I can't knock that. I understand that completely. So that's the only thing I think holding it up. Even though this year has been completely different than any other year I've ever seen in recruiting as far as kids committing this soon. It just not just us. I'm talking in general. It's like every day there's a commitment. There's 4, 5, 6 commitments in a day every day, and I'm like, oh my God, like these kids are jumping in early, and I don't know what that has to do with. I don't know if that's got to do with NIL stuff. I don't know if I really don't. I don't know unless kids are just to that point now with the way social media is. And the access to these schools that you've never had before, and the accessibility to get to places and things like that coaches are doing now, where it's not so disconnected. Where years ago before this, the only time you ever saw the school was for official visits, right? Like these kids didn't come for as many unofficial visits. It just didn't happen. It wasn't something that was feasible. But now I think that's it. And a lot of these kids too, I think they want to go ahead and commit because it's just something to get out of the way. Like they want to say, okay, I know where I'm going. I got to focus on my senior year. I got to focus on what I'm doing. They can kind of narrow things down I think you've got a lot of kids that are more strong-minded that way now. That they're like, okay, where I'm playing college is not the end game. I want to get to the NFL. So you're looking at your college as something I need to make that decision, get locked in, get ready, and work on my craft, and not be worried about going and eating plates of food and hanging out taking pictures all summer. I need to start working. So that could definitely be a factor in it too.
All right, Hirsch. Justin says, is On3 ever going to answer for the sins of the way they rank our recruits?
Absolutely not. Why should they? Why should they? We people all over this country keep giving them money. Why would they have to answer for it? All that we've done, really, at the end of the day, is keep them relevant. That's why I urge you just to quit talking about them. We said our little piece. I'm done talking about them. Move on. Let them. Don't pay them no attention. Their composite is not the composite that anybody uses for relevancy. Do they affect it? Yes. Does it suck? Absolutely, especially for these kids. But at the end of the day, we're just going to have to just quit mentioning them, quit putting them out there, quit giving them all the publicity and attention because they're eating it up. Because Shannon Terry only cares about one thing, and that's money. He just cares about that money. And every time we bring up their name, that's more money in his pocket and making that company worth more money, and he can sell it off and do it all over again.
Justin's next question: what are you guys' favorite Gator win victory you've seen at the Swamp? I guess we can all answer that.
I've seen at the Swamp, like personally. Oh man, Ole Miss 2015. I was there for that. At the Swamp, into place. That was the most. That was the loudest I think I've ever heard the place. Still to this day. And that was that many years ago. Nobody gave us a snowball's chance in hell to beat them. They had just beaten Alabama. We were like ranked 25, and they were like number 3 in the country, and we just didn't have a shot. They were going to come in, and Chad Kelly was going to throw for 500 yards, and they were going to make us look stupid. But at the end of the day, Will Greer and the boys just lit them up. So as far as in-person wins I've seen, that's number one for me, for sure.
Mine, 2017, Felipe Franks beats Tennessee with a Hail Mary. Not a Hail Mary, by the way.
I was there for that too.
Yeah, I posted that on our Facebook this week. That playing I think
insane
Wednesday, and I was like, dude, and everybody was like, where were you when this happened? And
I was doing the Gator chomp and
yeah,
Hillbilly faces when they were walking out the steps.
Really love that one. I wasn't here for this game, so I'm not going to say I was here for this game, but that 97 game, I posted this one this week as well. And to hear the announcer's voice and Fred Taylor, he might go in like the score on three-play drive to get in there. One to my favorite player, Kwesi, and then Fred Taylor taking it in. And just the call of the announcer, one of the legendary calls, I love to hear him call games, but his call on that was just magical. To me, that was one of my favorite games as a Gator fan. All right, we're going to wrap up. CJ, Justin has 3 more questions. I'll do the baseball one first, and then I'll go back to you, Hirsch. He says, who does CJ think will be the next to pop for baseball in the transfer portal?
I don't know. I think Kendall Rogers posted that there's 2,600 kids in the baseball transfer portal right now. We just lost a pitcher, so I could definitely see us adding another pitcher, another rotational guy. I don't think we're going to get a starter. I think that Sully's going to go ahead and go with the young arms. I think you'll see Neely get thrown back into the starting rotation this year. I don't think he'll be a closer like he was this year. So I think a pitcher is definitely a spot that we could be looking at, maybe another shortstop. I don't really have any names. Billy Amick was a guy that I was looking at, but Tennessee got him. I'm sure that Tennessee, paid him nicely for his services. We were going to as well, not sour grapes or anything, but Tennessee ended up winning out in that one. So good luck to him. But, Sully's done a great job. You've got a guy that was a freshman All-American from Alabama and Mr. Colby Shelton. So I'm curious to see how it works, but I think we'll get a pitcher just to add to the rotational depth.
Hirsch, you're a Twitter guy, so I asked you this, and then I'll save just this last question for each of us. That's a one-word type of answer. He says, who does the best trolls for UF Twitter? Who wins the most trolls battles from UF?
Me? What? No. Look, man. If y'all know Silk been doing this a long, long time. And I never seen somebody so unbothered by other individuals that he can just, without being even sending a mean tweet, can just troll the hell out of somebody.
He got him earlier today with he said, damn, that's crazy. But I'm sure y'all gonna get Lester though. That was a layup. And they were oh my
goodness. I like I've been watching Corey dump on people for 8 years now. It's just unbelievable. He is the most consistent troller of all times. Now I know some Miami guys gonna listen to this show and be like, y'all ride that motherfucker in profanity words and things like that. Dude, he's just funny. It ain't nothing more than that. I ain't never been in Silk's house. I have his phone number. I've talked to him a couple times. He's a good dude. But there's a couple others, but some of them I won't glorify their name on here because I got beef with some. And it is what it is. But no, Uncle Silk on Twitter, Corey, host of
Last Question.
West Side of the Air, host of the Big Three Roll Up and that show. Always check him out. That man has started with a little podcast like we do here and grown into a whole company. It's ridiculous.
Am I good? Y'all can hear me?
You're good. You just blanked out for a second.
Last question. This is for each of us. I'll give everybody give answer to this one. Who's the guy that you think that we have committed now? This is Justin's last question. That you think will have the biggest rise in the rankings?
It should be Miles Graham. There should not be anybody else because he's rated way lower than he deserves to be ranked. And that's mine.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Part of me wants to say Teddy Foster, but he's not committed yet, so I'm going to let that one go on a technicality. Micah Barrow. I'm going to go with Micah Barrow. I think that young man, he doesn't play a glorified position. He's a three-tech, tackle. But that young man, after just the videos I saw of him just running drills at Friday Night Lights, he's a monster. And if it's not him, I'm gonna cheat on this one a little bit. It might be our German friend because he just got ranked for the first time. It's nowhere to go but up, pretty much for him.
Right.
You guys kind of took my first two. I'm gonna stick with what CJ said. I think at the end of the day, I think Miles Graham will get his 5th star. So it might not be the biggest jump per se if somebody may be going 50 spots because he can't go 50 spots. You know what I mean? He can only
can't own all 3.
You know what I mean? I mean,
I'm sorry.
But you know what I'm saying? It might be the most significant of him getting his 5th star. So I think he will end up being getting his 5th star. So that's all the ones I have from Facebook. Hirsch and CJ.
Yeah, well, we don't have it. Hold on. You caught me unprepared, which happens. See, we had a couple of questions on the last week's video. Y'all got to ask more questions in the comments of the YouTube video. Make sure y'all do that this week. Drop some comments. Drop some questions in the comment below. Okay. Jeff Heiner asked, with 2 good running backs and play action with better receivers, do you think a Graham Mertz plays better than he did at Wisconsin? Wes, I'm going to give it to you.
Yes, this is my plan to solidify this class as the one that I called it to be so many years ago before I knew Billy Napier was going to be the coach. Just playing, but I think It was some things that I felt like AR left on the field. It was some things that I felt our receiver core left on the field as well. It was a combination of both, not putting it all on AR, not putting it all on receivers. But I think the young studs we have, Andy Jean, Wilson, I think they'll be more sure-handed. And I love Ricky, where he was at. It was a couple times. Ricky had to make some – AR was throwing some heat on some balls. Ricky had to make some – the play action, the way Napier ran it, there were some things across the middle, the AR, in beside the numbers that he struggled with. It's just, it is what it is. And there's some struggles from the receivers. I didn't really see Ricky drop maybe like that one ball, I think against Texas A&M in the end zone where AR tried to hit him. But I think this is my path to getting Jeremiah Smith. I think we will be able to connect on those passes. And I always told you, Hirsch, I think it is going to depend on those young receivers doing what they do. So that's my path to the 24 class really being elite. But yeah, I think Mercer will be successful doing the play action. I think if he can hit those intermediate passes inside the numbers, we'll be fine. I think he can do it.
All right. CJ, Lucas asked, who is the first 2025 commit?
That tackle.
I don't think it's going to be Fasausi. I'll find out how to say his name. I'd love to be him. That'd be awesome to start off with a big offensive tackle. But I think that Vernell Brown Jr. is definitely a kid that I could see committing early. I could see Montgomery from Ohio, the quarterback. I could see him joining early. You know how important it is for Billy Napier to get a quarterback in a class early. So I could definitely see that coming. Maybe DJ Pickett. I don't think he'd commit first for sure, but I don't know. I think that those are the options. I'll just go out on a limb and say Ryan Montgomery from Ohio commit at the quarterback spot. I think that the quarterback is probably the position you want to commit the earliest. So let's go with him and let the staff do what they do with quarterbacks again. You know, we've had some bumps in the road that really aren't their fault for them, you know, recruiting well. They've done a great job recruiting quarterbacks, but, you know, for whatever reason, you know, it just followed through. You know, just so, yeah, I'll go with the quarterback.
Also, a name to watch that I just want to throw out there is Jalen Wiggins. He's a defensive lineman out of Tallahassee that really, really, really likes the Gators. He was at Friday Night Lights, and he's going to be back for the barbecue as well. He's a kid that we've made tremendous progress with. All right, Lucas has one more. I'll leave this out for all three of us. How excited are you about the Swamp Kings documentary? Wes?
I want to see it.
You're going where I'm going with this.
Yeah, but I don't know if I really want to see it. You know, I love those were our last great years. So you always want to reminisce and think about the nostalgia of it all back then. But I am very, very weary of some things coming out that I don't want out there. So I'm hoping it's done in decent and in order.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Is that the best term? I love watching these documentaries, especially like the Pony Excess with the SMU guys and stuff like that. But it's different because it's my team now. You know, because like I watched the ESPN 30 for 30 on the U, you know, and they ragged on Miami with some of the stuff that happened there. And that's one thing for you to sit there and watch it for somebody else, another team that you don't have any love or affection for. When it comes to your team, you know, and you know they're going to get stuff wrong. You know they're going to have things that are a little embellished, and we're going to know that more than others, and that's probably going to tick us off a little bit more. But I'm cautiously optimistic if they mix it in with enough good stuff to go with the bad, where you leave the show on a positive note, like, you know, you really look, you know, hey, look at these guys and, you know, Tim Tebow and, you know, these great years for Florida. If they can kind of leave it on that, then it's fine. But if we leave it on the Aaron Hernandez stuff or the Ray McDonald stuff or anything like that, then I'm going to be kind of soured on it. But I'm cautiously optimistic.
Let dead bodies lie. That's all I got to say. There's some things, and maybe I've read some things that it's not gonna have too much stuff that you don't know about in it. And maybe if that's true, that's a great thing because there's a lot of stuff. Look, you're watching, to me, what was Florida in 2006, 7, and 8 happen with UGA kind of right now. And we as fans, we laugh about it. Look at them. Their house is burning down. Look at all that stuff. But I remember being there and being defensive of all the stuff we had going on at the time, being like, nah, man, that's just, it is what it is, man. These kids are just having fun. They're just being kids, blah, blah, blah. And, you defend it at all costs. Just let it lie, man. Whatever happened. There's reasons some stories don't come out. Hopefully, like I said, it's just talking about good football games and a whole lot of high-profile recruits coming together to win 2 championships. And that's all. But usually when you have these kind of documentaries, there's some skeletons that come on out of the closet as well. So I hope it's not too terrible. All right, guys. Let's jump on down and do this week's community question. We got a lot of responses for this week's community question. As always, CJ just coming with the heat. This week's community question, and sometimes, guys, y'all got to relax on some of these questions. It's not that deep. Who is your favorite player all time from a rival team? And I know some of y'all are like, I won't cheer for no rival damn football players. It ain't that deep, man.
It's a guy you can respect. Yeah,
you can appreciate a man being really good at his craft. I don't have to sit there and be like, he was a damn good or damn good dog or whatever the hell they say. I ain't got to say all that. I'm just saying, hell of a football player.
Dude was a monster.
Yeah, he's fun to watch play. If you're a college football fan, it's not a crime to say I enjoyed watching him play.
I'm going to start with the guy that probably got the most responses, and I'm not going to read all the people's names that said him. I'm going to read the guy's name, and we'll talk a little bit about why he fell into this category. Warrick Dunn was probably far and away the number one guy said by a lot of people that follow us and guys that I respect, especially Chris Zen being one, ATX Gator. He follows. I mean, a lot of people said it because he was a great football player and probably a better human being. No, not even a probably. Warrick Dunn is absolutely at the top of the chain of good human beings. I had the privilege in Atlanta to meet Warrick Dunn. He was in a Target with his staff buying furnishings for one of the houses he was doing for a family while he was playing for the Falcons. And I happened to be in Target that day and saw him walking around and shook his hand and actually said, I'm a Gator, but man, I really think the world of you and what you've done and all of that. And he's a tremendous human being. Can't say enough about him. All right, let's move on down with some other guys. TC, Original Gator, said, always loved Peter Warrick's game. Peter Warrick was a beast, man. He very close to making my my list. Triangle Gator said Warrick Dunn and Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward of New York Knickerbocker fame.
My high school. Well, the same high school as Charlie Ward. We got his Heisman up in the front
Yeah.
line. Yep.
All right. Hater Radio said Derek Brooks. A lot of Seminoles. Y'all picked a lot of Seminoles. Mm-hmm. JC, Peter Boulware. Peter Boulware Toyota right here in Tallahassee. CJ makes it around, man. Gator Lifer says Eric Zier. Now, he might be the only person that said Eric Zier. Ultimate competitor, wore his heart on his sleeve and had no problem cursing out fans after throwing a touchdown. I thought that was pretty much all quarterbacks. Gatorade 75 said Dalvin Cook because he was committed to Florida and flipped his commitment and then killed us. Dude on the couch, Derek Brooks. SC Gator, Tyrann Mathieu. CJ, primetime. A lot of people said Dion too, and I can't argue with that either. Being a Falcons fan, having to watch Dion excel, and then Warrick Dunn excel for being two of the best Falcons of all times. It breaks my heart, man. Justin Mathis, no Sean Marino. Okay. Mark Keir said Devin Hester. A lot of people actually said Devin Hester as well. And I was actually at the Peach Bowl when Devin Hester torched us. Oh, God. Goober McGoober says Jameis. Oh, my goodness. Let's see here.
My heart has softened on Jameis just watching him do stuff in the NFL. I'm entertained by Jameis.
Yeah. I get it. Will Smith 784, and who was the other one that said that? KTB both said Joe Burrow. Very respectable. Joe Burrow, man. If you're a younger fan and you watch Joe Burrow and what he did, it's hard not to respect him. And he's translated it to the NFL, man. I never would have thought it. Eric White said Eric Berry. Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%, Mr. White. Eric Berry was an absolute monster. I don't like many Tennessee players. There's very few I care about enough to say that they would be a great rival player. Eric Berry's probably at the top of that list as far as Tennessee guys go. Bill Gator said Peyton at UT because he never beat my Gators. Cole Prescott, Matt Stafford. Let's see here. Looking for some different ones. Tyrone said George Pickens. You sure about that? Blake says
he's a
Julio and Najee. You must be a younger guy. I don't know if I call Alabama really a rival team either, but I understand it. At that time, we played them a bunch, in meaningful games. So, all right, let's see here. Had a couple people, including Corey Kennedy, say Benny Snell at Kentucky. Very respectable. Gator Dude says Johnny Football, Darren McFadden, Todd Gurley, and Amari Cooper off the top of his head. Randy Farrell says Herschel Walker. Randy, you must be a little older than me. Do we consider Alabama a rival? Tony Baker says that. If so, I kind of love Derrick Henry.
I love Neil. You don't, Derrick Henry.
Huh?
I love Keanu's Neil.
I don't recognize Derrick Henry because Will Muschamp is an asshole.
He's just a linebacker. Derrick Henry, the linebacker. That's who I recognize.
Yeah, Coach Jort says Jameis. I'm just looking at a few of them. Jay says Tyrann Mathieu. Champ Bailey got a few. Peyton Manning and Dion. Yep. Church says Tyrann Mathieu is mine as well.
A lot.
I think that's about it.
They love the Honey Badger.
And we had a couple of guys say Michael Irvin. But y'all got to be up there a little older than me, too.
Or they're just Cowboys fans.
That could be, too. Or cocaine
that's how I feel.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about liking Emmitt Smith. Being a Cowboy fan, I'm a Washington fan. It's hard to pull for Emmitt. But
Wes, what you got on the Facebook page? I
got a few, so I'm gonna just run through them real quick. Give my boys a shout out. Jay Stubbins said Champ Bailey. Lucas the Man said only Gators, but if I had to go with someone, he went with Warwick Dunn. Chris Solis said Peyton Manning. Ryan Parker had a different one. He said my uncle Bill Ravens played for FSU, but I ignored the nepotism and go with Greg Jones, running back from Florida State. Tom Noble said Warwick Dunn because of his charitable contributions after he left college. Herman Dower said I hate FSU with all my heart, but Peter Warwick was a freaking beast, for real, for real. Josh Humane said none, but why would you like a player from a rival team, Josh? You don't have to like him, but you can respect what he did on the field. And that's kind of what the question was about, Josh. Some guys made some comments under you. I think Sean Stiles said Honey Badger and Eric Berry. Virgil Gasky said Dion. Pearl Littman. I had a lot of Peter Warwicks in mind. Peter Warwick, Florida State. Greg Odom said the new one. He said Todd Gurley. Matthew Hayden said Champ. King Owen said wasn't so into college when he played, but it's prime time. We know how he did in the league. Alan Hassel said Warwick Dunn because of his charitable contributions. Ryan Gurn said Jacob Hester, very underrated. Christopher Anthony said probably Fournette or Derrick Henry. My boy Jamin Smith played football with him in high school, said Thomas Davis, safety / linebacker for UGA, played with the Panthers forever. Michael Varner said Bo Jackson. I'm surprised nobody said him. Auburn was kind of a rival back then. Go Gators, David Anderson said LSU who, but number 7, Matthew. Dennis Connaughton said during his day before he escapes it was OJ, even though it's not a rival. Otherwise, I can't think of any other player to fit the bill.
The juice.
Tim Scott said Charlie Ward, FSU class all around, and it was a thin line separating him for Warrick Dunn. Brian Hicks said Herschel Walker and Joe Burrow. Ricky Richardson, Dion. Bo Dawes said Bo Jackson. Justin Woods said hate to admit it, but he was a big Julio fan. It stung when he chose them over us. Carol Hale, Warrick Dunn, John Stacy Freeman, Warrick Dunn, and he said he liked Bob Bob. I did love to hear Bobby talk. His post games and his stuff he said, so not mad at that. Ali Chamberlain said Amp Lee. That was the first one. David
we
Bush
actually
said,
had a couple, and I'm sorry, I hate to break in on you. We had a couple say Amp Lee on Twitter, and I scrolled by them. I was trying to group them together, and I forgot.
Gotcha. David Bush said, don't really have one, but I have a lot of favorite Gator players. Go Gators. Justin Cordero said Edrin James. That's the first one. He also said Tua as well. That was the first. Chris Brown. Justin, you're probably a Miami fan. Not a Miami Hurricane, but Dolphin. Chris Brown said, I am a college football guy. He killed us in 93, but I'll go with Warrick Dunn from the nose. Greg Colson said, I'm sorry, y'all. I can't do it. I'm going to save this last one because this was the first. I have 2 left, but John McNeely said Willis McGay, he was a beast from Miami. Doran Cleckley, I hope I pronounced your last name right. I'm going to save yours because you were the only one that went with the same one that I have, so I'll save that one.
All right, CJ, who's yours?
Devin Hester. I'm Devin Hester because he fits the bill on both sides. I was a Florida fan, so I didn't like, the Miami Hurricanes, and I'm a Green Bay fan, so I didn't like the Chicago Bears. But I always watched Devin Hester. If Devin Hester was on TV and he was returning a kick, you turned the TV on. You was not missing Devin Hester. If there's ever been somebody that I've looked at that I could say that guy should be in the NFL Hall of Fame just for returning kicks, it's Devin Hester. The guy was a freak. I mean, he was never a pure wide receiver or anything like that. He didn't have like a set position, but the guy could score, and he was just a hell of a player. Devin Hester was just too much fun to watch. No matter who you rooted for, you had to watch that guy play.
Wes?
Yeah, Doran, the reason why I saved yours, you was the only one to say what I said. And I used this guy because he played for my NFL team. And not a lot of rivals that were really good played for my NFL team. So the only reason, I won't say the only reason, I would have to respect this guy anyway, because I would have went with Warrick Dunn or Peter Warrick like some of you guys. But I got to go with the late, great Sean Taylor. I've never, ever seen somebody that size run that fast, hit that hard, have those ball skills. I mean, he was the perfect combination, whether you wanted to play with strong safety or free safety. I mean, I've never seen that. He was when we look at freaks, he was a freak. To be able to run that fast and be that size and just do all the things he did on the field, the way he hit PK Sam from Florida State, dominated him in that rain game and did that thing when he scored the touchdown, and the plays he made for my NFL team, Washington, it hurt our fan base when he passed. He was just the greatest player. And I remember watching that documentary when Clinton Porter, they were telling Joe Gibbs he was thinking about drafting Kessler Winslow as a tight end. And Clinton Porter said he would tell him every day, Sean Taylor. Him and saying, I think I had a bunch of Miami players. I said I didn't have a lot, but I had Clinton Portis, Santana Moss, and of course Sean Taylor, all from the U playing at my NFL team. But glad he was a Washington Redskin player, and I loved every minute I saw him on the field. Just a phenomenal, best athlete at the safety position I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, rest in peace to Sean Taylor, man, a guy that was gone way too soon. We do a lot of trolling out there, but that's one thing you'll never ever see us make jokes about, man. Sean was an absolute beast and was gone way too soon. I have 2, and they're very personal to me for different reasons. My first is Hines Ward. I played against Hines Ward starting in middle school all the way through high school. I went to Lovejoy High School in Atlanta. He went to Forest Park. We played. I went to, we played against each other, like I said, in middle school all the way through. Best football player I've ever been on the field with in my life. He was right up there back then when they only had like Rivals and Scout doing recruiting. He was right up there at number 1 in the recruiting rankings for a long time, and went to Georgia. Obviously, he was a quarterback in high school, but he would run the ball on you. He could do whatever he wanted to do. He returned kicks. He returned punts. He was the quarterback. He was everything. And that dude, he was the fastest slow guy I've ever seen.
You started with fast, so I was like, fast. But I give
He was the fastest slow guy I've ever seen. You'd be like, oh, I got to step on him. Nope, you don't. Sorry, he gone. Love Hines. He's a good human being, does a lot for his community. His mama lived up there in Rex, Georgia for a long time, even after he had gone into the pros. My other one, I've mistakenly said his name on the show before, is DJ Shockley. My dad coached DJ Shockley at Riverdale Middle School up in Metro Atlanta, and I had the honor of being an assistant coach on that team for some time and helping that. And I watched DJ Shockley when he was 12 years old be able to stand on the 50 and throw the ball through the goalpost on at the end of the field. And it was just like, what? Like, we had to tell the young man at 12 years old, hey, don't throw so hard. He was like Anthony was last year, throwing a fastball at a kid 12 yards away. And, when you're 12 years old, you don't have coordination from nothing. Balls were just hitting kids, knocking the helmet sideways and everything else. And I remember my dad being like, DJ, I know you can throw it, but you can't. And he was just such a great young man. Now he's a news anchor for Fox 5 in Atlanta. DJ's a great, great kid. So, just two guys that are very personal to me. And DJ was the number 1 recruit in the country, too, when he came out. And it sucks they both went to Georgia, but it is what it is, All right, guys, we appreciate it as always, man. We love sharing these stories, man. This is our favorite episode to do, because we love sharing these stories, reliving moments, reliving highlights and things like that. And just, takes you back to the moments. And that's what's so great. So guys, keep those questions coming. Make sure you drop some in the comments below. Drop a like on this video, guys. Let's see if we can get up to 50 likes on this video. We'd appreciate it. Make sure, if you haven't already, you've watched us, you got this far, you're like, man, I like these guys. They're pretty cool. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. It helps us out a great, great bit. And it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. You're already here. Just hit that click. We really appreciate it. And guys, make sure you hit that notification bell. You'll get a notification every time we upload new content. We upload twice a week right now. It could be 2 to 3 times during the football season. We hadn't got there yet. We'll get it all figured out when that comes. But until then, guys, get those questions in. Watch out for the community question as we post it on our social medias next week. On our Facebook group, if you haven't joined there, we're at 1,100 members strong. Or on our Twitter page at Respect Our DCN. We'd love to have you follow us there. We got stuff going on all the time. But until then, guys, we'll see you next week. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.